Good morning, everybody. We're back.
We're back.
Woo! I'm EJ.
I'm Sean.
And I'm Phil.
And this is WarpZone. So, highly contentious conversation that's been going around the newsroom for the past probably week, right, guys? And that's talking just brackets and not necessarily like NCAA brackets. We're talking like Pixar. So up on your screen right now, you see IGN released their top 25 Pixar movies. Number 1 being the best, number 25 being the worst. So before we get to anything else, guys, what are your thoughts on this bracket here?
All I know is that Twitter blew up about it.
Yeah, I whenever I saw it, I was like, number 1, The Incredibles. That's a lot. I did not like The Incredibles that much. So Phil,
that's already a hot take.
Yeah, I think they created this bracket clearly to troll people. They wanted to get people angry. Mission accomplished. They made WarpZone, so how much bigger can you get than that? So
yeah.
Like I will say that like we were talking about like different brackets of how it goes and whatnot, and I will say again, I like The Incredibles. The Incredibles was a good movie. Not my number 1, probably not even in my top 10. So that's one thing right there. I don't know. Do you guys agree with at least the top 5 if we can pull them back up, like the top 5 of what you think?
Absolutely not. I think Incredibles has always been obscenely overrated.
Oh my god.
Sequel even more so, even though people don't like Incredibles 2 as much as 1. They're fine movies, but Pixar has made some great ones. They don't belong in the top 5.
I don't know, Sean, you're like shaking your head saying, oh my god, like what's going on?
Incredibles is like a cultural touchstone. If you were my age and you saw Incredibles in the theater, it was like the best movie of all time for the 5 minutes that it was the best movie of all time. And then like Scooby-Doo 2 Monsters Unleashed came out and we were all like, yeah, awesome, best movie of all time.
Okay.
I haven't seen these movies as an adult, so I can't relate. They probably are all bad.
I will say that I'm going based off of memory of like, because I think I've only seen Incredibles probably twice. One when it came out, and then one somewhere else sprinkled throughout like the past 20 years or however long it's been out. But that's pretty much it. And I think what was it? I know that behind the scenes we have Caleb. If he can pull that video back up to show the list of the top movies. I believe Toy Story 3 made the top.
Man.
And as well as like Toy Story. Because I agree to an extent. I don't think that Toy Story itself, the story was great, but I don't know if it needed to be number 4. Number Toy Story 3 being number 2, I'm okay with though.
Well, yeah, if you're talking like Toy Story 1 was kind of a huge deal at the time. Like as far as 3D animated sort of movies go. If you're looking at it from that perspective, sure, I could see that. Toy Story 3 though, Toy Story 3 is just so bad.
How is it so bad? Like
Sean, you're so wrong.
They should have all died at the end. They should have killed the franchise in that furnace with
If we would have gotten Toy Story 1 and Toy Story 3 and that's it, that's fine. Toy Story 2 was just an awful, atrocious movie. And Toy Story 4 should have never been made.
I never saw Toy Story 4 because I just, in my fan fiction headcanon, they just all died in the furnace.
The only way Toy Story 3 could have been better is if it ended the way Sean said. That he's right. That's why it packs so much emotion. At the time, you think it might happen. I thought it might. It's a great film. Toy Story 4, unnecessary, but you know we're going to get 5 and 6 in the future. They're never going to stop.
Yeah. Like, oh. Well, I know that's IGN, but for us, we we decided to do our own thing. So in IGN's tweet, they had a different comment. I believe the name was Caroline. And Caroline tweeted out a bracket and said, like, let's get this, right and situated. So if we can bring that bracket up of all of the movies listed, it's funny because, like, again, we have so many like thoughts of what should be number one, what should be number anything, and so what better way than to fill it out on your own? So Caroline, Carovolino, appreciate this bracket. We at Kiga 9 here at Warp Zone, and even other people from the newsroom, decided to print this bracket out and fill it out ourselves. I will say that I even gave it to my husband so that way he could fill it out. And we had some back and forths of what was number one and what should have stayed and what should have made the cut. I don't understand why a couple of these, let's see, I'm trying to see. We might have different brackets now that I'm seeing this. Is this the same bracket?
It is a different bracket.
It is a different bracket.
Somebody changed it so it's not plagiarism.
Oh, somebody changed it. So anyway, we have our own bracket. So I'll try and how close can I get this? So we have our own bracket that we have. Unfortunately, I don't have a clean one to share, but it had Cars, what is it? 3, Cars 2, have Ratatouille, Turning Red, Brave, Finding Dory, and A Bug's Life, all in a bye. Like, I was not about that because I didn't watch Cars 2, Cars 3 because, like you and Sean and Phil, like you both said about Toy Story, they should have died in a furnace. I believe the same thing. They should have been turned into I don't know, scrap metal after the first one. The first one was great, but after that, no, should have been scrap metal. But my top elite Pixar film out of this whole bracket that we made was Toy Story 3. That was my top one. So Phil, what about you? What was your top?
It's Toy Story 3 for me. It was all I could do to stop myself from crying the first time I saw that. Excellent filmmaking. There's been some other great Pixar movies, but that one comes out on top for me.
Okay. Sean, what about you? What's your top one? Oh no. Did we lose Sean?
Oh.
Oh no, we lost you, Sean. We can't hear you. Oh no. But while Sean's getting his mic all situated and stuff, I guess I will go on here.
Is there shit here?
Did we get you, Sean?
Am I back?
Yes, you're back.
Oh,
cool.
Okay. I gave it to The Incredibles. There you go.
You give it to The Incredibles.
I gave it to The Incredibles, even though The Incredibles as an adult, I was just thinking about it, and I was thinking one of the big things about The Incredibles was the cape thing, which was a complete ripoff of Watchmen. Never wear a cape. It was a throwaway line in The Watchmen, but they made it a huge line in The Incredibles. It's fine as a kid's action movie, I guess, It's fine. Toy Story 3, I like I said, I don't actually remember anything about it except for the ending. So I bet if I rewatched it, I'd be like, yeah, this is cool. This is cute. But it came out at a time, when did it come out? 2013 or something? So I was like an edgy teenager. I wanted everything to die.
Yeah. I will say for my final 4 here, what was it? Inside Out, Coco, Toy Story, and Toy Story 3. Those were my final 4. And between Inside Out and Toy Story 3, Toy Story 3 ended up winning for me. My husband decided to go Monsters Inc. and Toy Story. and Toy Story beat everything out of his. So that's, and we still kind of disagreed on that because just of how I don't rewatchability. I think Toy Story 3 is better. Even though you have the nostalgia of Toy Story itself, the animation kind of cringy. But again, like to your point, Sean, it was the first kind of movie that we had seen in that format, in that with the whole animation, and Pixar kind of stepping up their game into, we're going to bring you a cartoon that's not a cartoon. So definitely kudos to Toy Story and Pixar for taking on that challenge and giving us the incredible, like 25, what is this, 25 movies that we have. Let's see some other movies that are here. Coco, I know, was a big one. Did any of you guys see Coco? No, Sean. Sean, no.
I don't watch these movies. There's like no appeal for me for any of these.
Okay, all right. So if we could bring the bracket back up to kind of give a view of all of these movies. I know that there was some conversation. Phil, you saw Cars 2 and 3, correct?
Yeah, Cars 2 is as bad as a Pixar movie could possibly be. It's just revolting. It's a shame. We've had some other bad ones like The Good Dinosaur, bad run recently with Luca, and then Turning Red. So they're in a low point right now, but hopefully they can turn it back around going forward. But yeah, Coco is good, but it has a little bit of the effect that Frozen does. If you watch it a lot, it wears thin real quick.
And me over here with my Frozen, like we had like another bracket. So this Pixar bracket ended up like, how many brackets do I have here? I have, because of the green screen, you can't really see, but I have, let's see, 3 other ones. And our anchor GM Jose Sosaya gave us a 10-team one of the top, according to Rotten Tomatoes, of the top Disney movies. And I don't know if you guys have had a chance to fill it out, but spoiler, my winner is Hunchback of Notre Dame. So that's that was my winner there. It beat out Pocahontas, it beat out Lion King, which surprised me. And some hot takes. Another one is Beauty and the Beast. Fun fact, I've never seen Beauty and the Beast. And I don't even plan to watch it, even the live action one. Haven't seen them. Don't plan to. That I'm not a Beauty and the Beast kind of person.
Oh my god! I'm just gonna say that as a person who hasn't seen probably half of those Pixar movies. You've never seen Beauty and the Beast? Wow.
Yeah, and to claim to be a huge Disney fan myself, actually this weekend I just went to Disneyland. Got to see Adventures Campus and everything. But even though I'm a huge fan of Disney, yeah, Belle, the Beast. I don't even remember who the other Lumiere, is that his name, and a bunch of other ones.
Gaston, the greatest character in Disney history.
Nope, can't say that I know and or plan to know who these characters are. So
you're not missing much.
So I guess that's all we have to really say about the bracket, right, guys?
Yeah, we just have to move on with life because there's too many hurt feelings here. Like, we're all crushed. You know, we just got to move on. Survive in advance, as they say in the NCAA tournament.
True. And
Sean played his game of the year this past weekend. I
did.
Yeah.
Tell us about
Star Wars. The Skywalker.
Why is it your goatee, Sean? Why is it?
Why is it the game of the year already? Because it's actually fun to play. Elden Ring is good. Elden Ring is fun. But this is just the kind of game where you can pick up and play it at any point in time. It has like 100 hours worth of content. You can play it with the kids, with grandma, with anyone. Everyone's going to love it. You can run around all these planets and just kill everyone if you want. You can live out your greatest fantasies of watching little Lego people explode into pieces. You can role play. You can pretend Obi-Wan turned to be a Sith. It's everything you could ever want in a video game. And even though I don't like Star Wars that much, I love this game. It's I won't say it's perfect, but it is as good or probably better than I thought it would be.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're seeing a lack of joy in general in video gaming you're not. There's so many things like Elden Ring that kind of just wears on you, bring you down. There's so many super serious games out there, and I think you kind of see the same with many awards type movies you'll see in Oscar season. But like, I agree with that. Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga is really great. Sean playing it a lot this weekend, and then also another game that fills that need for me was Kirby and the Forgotten Land. That one to me too is just all about fun, joyousness. Maybe not a heck of a lot of challenge, which kind of I gravitate toward those games. So like if you can unwind by playing a game, you can kind of get something, some enjoyment out of it rather than just get after like, a hard day at work or whatever you do just to get driven into the ground by a really hard game. Maybe there's something to be said for something like that in this day and age. EJ, what's your game of the year so far?
Oh my gosh. Like this.
Is it Forbidden West?
Okay, so Forbidden West, I had high hopes for it. I don't think so. I don't think that it's going to be my game of the year. I haven't really played too much. I've heard a lot of good things about Lego Star Wars, so I'm like kind of like low key really wanting to play it. But I was reading articles this and that. I think it was like on Thursday. I had a 1.5 gig patch, and this is like patch number like I don't even know if we're on patch 10 yet. And the game has been out for maybe like a little over a month, and it's just ridiculous the amount of like bugs, glitches, and just so much that's wrong with the game that I've just I don't want to say that I've given up, but I will say I'll give a. I'm already starting to write my review because I want to finish the game, but I'm not planning to. I don't know. I already have like my title for my article that I'm going to write about it to give you kind of like a teaser. It's Horizon sequel should be forbidden despite beauty and gameplay.
Ooh,
yeah.
Gosh.
Because I absolutely loved how it played. I loved the combat system. I loved your weapons. I loved that you actually had to use your traps, your potions, and everything like that. The game itself was beautiful in a lot of places. I finally got to like the West Coast where you see the water and the mechanics of the water and the waves and how everything flows is just magnificent and beautiful. But they have so many problems with the game, and I think that it's just because the map is so massive that you're bound to like run into all of these issues. So I wanted to like vote for that one to be game of the year, but because there's so many problems with it, like I can't confidently vote for it.
All right, for bidding it. That's big talk, EJ. Wow.
Yeah.
What a turnaround. I'm excited to read that review when you get to it.
Yeah, definitely.
So, I do want to know from Sean, like, what stood out for you most in Lego Star Wars? Like, a lot of people are looking forward to this. It comes out, I believe, tomorrow. You had a chance to play it this weekend, and I did too. What was like the moment? What was the moment for you? Like that, like was like, wow, this is something great.
I think it was just when I started it and seeing all the open world, because there are multiple open hub worlds. There are 18 or 19 different planets, and you get to go to Mos Eisley and walk around, and there are little Lego people walking around. It's so open, and there's so much to do and so much content there. The original games kind of had those little open areas, but they didn't have as much like depth. There's 1,200 little Lego bricks to collect. There's so many collectibles. There's of course a skill tree because every game needs skill trees. There's just so much content there, which I generally wouldn't think you'd get that much content out of a $60 game anymore. And then on top of that, I mean, we're playing it before release for the review, but it, to EJ's point about the games dropping like 2 gig, 10 gig, whatever patches, this game, it's coming out and I haven't had any glitches, any real issues with it. It's just a very polished game. But to that point, there is one issue I have with it that I'll just throw out there, and it is that the hub worlds are way too big and they just feel so empty. And they aren't built with Legos. They look like actual places, like in an actual video game rather than the Legos. So it's very like liminal spacey to me. It's just very disconcerting to see little Lego people and little Lego items, and then this big empty like level that goes on forever. So the levels could have been, or the open worlds, I should say, could have been cut down a little bit. But I mean, it's still, I've been having so much fun with this game. It's so good.
Yeah, I like just the access. Like, I'm used to Lego, especially Lego Star Wars movies, kind of like partitioning off a lot of stuff. Hey, you got to do this and this and this to unlock this. This one kind of just throws a lot out at you. I'm sure there are tons and tons of unlockables as you go through, but the access it gives you at the beginning is kind of refreshing for Lego games, at least. It's been a while since we've had a new Lego game. They used to come out like almost every other month, it seems, but this is like something we've had to actually wait for. And now that there's not probably going to be a Star Wars movie this year, there hasn't been one in a while. These things are a little more special than they were. Now they're a little spaced out.
Yeah, and another thing I wanted to mention was there's so much variety in the game. If you get to lightsaber duels or like boss fights, they're completely different from the exploration sections and the ship combat sections. I was so surprised by how smooth and how much fun they were, because ship combat in most games is so painful because you have 360-degree range of motion in space. But this game makes it so much fun. And
especially Lego games, they used to be so bad, the ship combat. And a lot of the combat was really bad in previous Lego games. And like, I'm guessing, Sean, that your first experience with a Lego game was Star Wars. Maybe you too, EJ. Mm-hmm. Mine was to go back to those early ones. Like, they were great at the time, but they're so bad now compared to what we have. The
yeah.
Release.
Yeah, like one of the games I played the most as a kid was Lego Star Wars on the Xbox. And it's just, you had co-op, you had everything. And it had so many collectibles and everything you could want as a kid. And so this game really does bring back like childhood memories, but is a so much more polished, so much better product.
Yeah,
all right.
I do.
We got to talk some Morbius though, EJ. Right?
I know. I was about to say, like, I would love to continue this, but like talking about like Disney stuff and everything. What's this Morbius, Phil?
I mean, I didn't like it much. 2 stars for me. I thought it was a really good trailer. I was kind of excited for it. It was building up. Got delayed a little bit. This thing was going to come out in January. Got pushed back, and I was like, okay, this might be something good. They're maybe not dumping it in January. Maybe they think they have something good. I was disappointed by it. I thought it was a good Jared Leto performance, but overall, really clunky way to throw in another probably Venom or Spider-Man villain as we head down the line here. What do you think, EJ?
I didn't see it, but I saw so many like clips of it on TikTok and Snapchat and just people like talking about it. And I didn't have high hopes for it. So I was kind of like, whatever, I'll watch it. But after seeing everything, I was like, oh, this movie is garbage. So I like to actually see everything unfold. I'm either going to agree with you or disagree with you, Phil. And by disagree, I mean I'm probably going to rank it lower. But because like everything that I'm hearing about it, I'm like, ooh, 2 out of 4 is pretty generous.
Yeah, Sean's not even going to watch this movie. Like, not even at home, will you, Sean? Will you ever watch Morbius?
It looks like an Underworld movie or like Blade Trinity or one of those just really bad early 2000s, kind of like Van Helsing. The early 2000s had an obsession with these kind of vampire-y monster movies, and it looks so dated.
Yeah, I kind of agree. Because it reminded me a lot of Underworld. And like thinking about that, I'm like, I wonder if this movie would have come out maybe 5 years ago, would we have the same opinion? Like, would we say that it's a good movie?
I mean, look how blue filtered everything is. It wants to be Underworld. Blue.
Right.
I don't think we ever said Underworld were ever good movies. So like, this would be Underworld 7 or 8 now. This maybe is Underworld 7 or 8 or 9 or however many they did make. And I don't know who the audience is for it. I mean, maybe it'll be good to have Morbius around as a character, but this is a tough way to get him in to the Marvel/Sony extended MCU here. But I don't know. Like, to me, the most disappointing part of this movie were the after credit scenes where they show you how they're going to shoehorn this guy into at least the Spider-Man Venom component there. So like I hope that those movies that come out of this aren't nearly as bad as the post credits make it seem like it's going to be.
Right, because I think I had asked you, like, basically, did we see the post credit scenes in the trailer? And I mean, your answer was kind of yeah, with who we saw, like spoiler for if you haven't seen it yet, Michael Keaton, both of the parts of Michael Keaton are the end credits of the movie, right?
Oh yeah.
So
Yep, you see a lot of that.
Yeah, so even with that, I'm just like I'm not a big fan of that. Like, why show me something in the trailer and kind of lie to the audience like, oh, this is going to be a big moment, and it's actually not.
Probably because they had nothing to use in the trailer. They have to
it's
sell
not
you
a bad
on it.
trailer. Yeah, it's not a bad trailer, really. Like, it had me excited, but that excitement was quickly dissipated. But Jared Leto, he's a good, solid actor. I think it's worth seeing, even though it's a bad movie, just to appreciate the Leto-ness of it. So I'm going to throw that out there.
Yeah,
what other movies has Jared Leto been in that he's been good? Because he's kind of a meme.
Dream. That's his calling card,
right?
But yeah, these days you got him in as the bad Joker, the only bad Joker ever on cinema.
He was in Blade Runner 2049, but he only had maybe 5 or 6 lines. I mean, he was good in that, but he had nothing to do in it. So I'm not entirely sure what his acting output is. I just know that a lot of people don't think he's very good as an actor.
Yeah, maybe this won't reinforce that, or maybe this would actually reinforce that, because there's a lot of Leto in this movie, and it's not a horrible performance, but yeah, maybe not the best character, maybe not the best material for him to work with.
Yeah, I wanted to kind of like it. Same with you, Phil. Like, the trailer looked really great, and I thought that like it was going to be good, and maybe Leto could have some sort of a redeeming role from the whole Suicide Squad. But I don't know. I don't think this is it. Maybe for his performance, yes, but overall, again, when you have a bad taste in your mouth from a movie, you don't really say, oh yeah. A lot of people don't split the two. It's either Morbius and Jared Leto are all bad, and unfortunately that's probably the rap that it got for him too.
Real quick, we only have a couple minutes left. Let's talk about, we're talking about Marvel scraping the bottom of the barrel. Let's talk about Moon Knight real fast.
Oh, yes.
Speaking of, Sean, what's your experience with Moon Knight? You didn't watch very much of it. What drove you away?
I watched like 5 minutes of it and was like, I don't care. And then I turned to the end of it, and when he was talking to himself in the mirror, I was like, okay, this looks kind of interesting. And I might go back and watch it, just like binge it, all 6 episodes or whatever it is at some point. But for right now, I have other things I'd rather watch. Maybe at some point I'll go back and give this a try.
I'm having trouble keeping track of who Oscar Isaac is in all his Disney stuff. Like, I like Moon Knight, I'm in, but like I also think too much of Poe, or like all the other people that he's kind of popping up as around these various shows. So like, wait, who are you again? Like, but to me, it's a Venom vibe. Maybe Venom done a little bit better because he's talking to himself a lot. He's got his person inside of his head who's arguing with himself all the time. I like the way they handled it first. It could get annoying as we go on, and we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I am complete opposite. Absolutely loved it. I will be here for it. The first episode, I love how we only actually saw Moon Knight come out for like maybe 15 seconds. Other than that, I loved it. I'm excited for this season. I hope they do it well. And I have more high hopes for it than Halo, because I saw episode 2 and I was sorely disappointed in Halo 2. Again, I'm going to give it one more try. If it doesn't hold up to it, I'm done. I'm going to tap out, because
I'm sorry, hearing someone say I'm sorry.
Give it 4 more tries, EJ.
Like, no, I'm just done with that, because as a fan of the game, you've definitely like pushed me to the edge, and I'm like, okay, maybe I'm teetering that line of like whether this can be good or not, and now I'm literally 1 foot's on the other side of the line now. I just need to take that other step that's saying like this show is trash.
Ooh, that's so much, because I like Halo. Feeling it so far. I say give it 4 or 5 more chances, Sean. Give it a shot at some point. Maybe it's not as much of a must-see as one of our favorite shows, Peacemaker, but you know what? It's Halo done as good as it could have done. Something to be said for that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Fans hate it.
Yeah, I know. The graphics cool. I'll give it that. The graphics are cool. And Master Chief's costume. Other than that, no.
Are we talking about episode 2 or Halo 2? You said Halo 2 is disappointing, and
Episode 2.
I was taken aback.
Oh no, episode 2.
How could you
Oh
speak
no,
of the Arbiter
I'm
in
talking
such
about
a
I'm
way?
talking about the TV show. No, games aside, no. We're talking TV show here.
I won't watch it.
Good
I
for
don't
you.
care.
That's actually this
There are
is the
video
one
games.
time. This is the one time I'm like, Sean, that's the greatest decision ever. Do not watch this show.
I'll go watch.
And I
the
say
Julia
watch it.
Child show or something.
Don't listen to him, everybody. Just check out Halo. It's worth it.
Go watch
Worth
the
your time.
Julia Child show.
Oh
That
gosh,
seems
yeah.
so boring to me. I cannot bring myself to watch that Julia Child. I've seen so many documentaries and other things recently about her. That movie that Meryl Streep was in. That's enough. Enough Julia Child for me.
Well, now Food Network has a show where it's like you're cooking along with Julia Child, and it's a bunch of like bad cooks or whatever, and they're just playing up the Julia Child thing for some reason. It's like, how many people remember Julia Child?
Yeah.
Now you can't get rid of her. You can't get
Yeah.
stuck. It's around every corner.
Yeah. But
It's like
thank
being
you
the
guys.
Ricardos.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Why?
Mhm.
But thank you everybody for joining us. Hope to see you next week on our next Warp Zone. Again, we'll cover hot topics and have hot takes. So I'm EJ.
I'm Sean.
And I'm Phil.
Bye.